Hey, howdy, hey! It is Haley again with part two of my Beetlejuice videos where I talk about Beetlejuice stuff. Yeah, it's the second one. Hooray! So for this one, we're gonna be mostly talking about character design stuff because this is gonna be going over my character lineup that I did. So it's not really gonna be a hot take video. It's more so just gonna be me talking about like design decisions and just very specific character stuff, my kind of process with designing these guys, and more stuff about the other characters, because I know in the last one it was very Beetlejuice and Lydia heavy. This one is going to be about pretty much everybody, or at least everyone that I drew. Yeah, so let's get into it. All right, so let's go to Beetlejuice. Let's get him over with, this fucking guy. Let's get him done. So for Beetlejuice, he is obviously a character that before I had started this lineup specifically, I had already drawn him like a billion other times. Like he was pretty figured out for me at this point. I just wanted to kind of streamline his design and kind of finalize some thoughts on it to kind of make him look just as best as I possibly could with the vision that I had for him. Also, side note, just while I'm doing this, there's going to be a lot of noodling around of the drawings in this. You're going to see me change a lot of things and kind of like be flipping through layers and stuff like constantly. So just, I guess like a heads up for that, it might be like not entirely pleasant to look at times. So warning for me flashing through layers very quickly in a way that is kind of irritating. At least it's irritating to me. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there for this video. And it's not just for Beetlejuice, it's for a lot of other characters. It was just my way of trying to figure things out without having to draw like a bunch of other doodles of them over and over. I just wanted to like take one drawing of them and just noodle with that a bunch. As you can see with what's happening with Lydia right here. So I just wanted to put that as a disclaimer. Sometimes I design or like work like that, sometimes I don't. For this one, I just felt like doing it like this, so just wanted to put that out there. All right, anyway, disclaimer over. So for Beetlejuice, when I was designing him for this, I was really thinking about how in the cartoon he has a very complex design, really, he does. I can't imagine what it was like for the people having to draw him on cells, and hand paint those fucking stripes for the cartoon back in the, late 80s, early 90s when it was being made. Like, that sucks. And, for my newer design for him that I wanted to try, I was thinking about that. But at the same time, I was like, well, there have been a lot of innovations in animation since then. We have rigged animation now, we have 3D now, we have all these other things that can kind of make patterns and other sorts of things like that easier. Not to say that it is always easy. I've definitely been on I'm not an animator, but the one job that I've had for the industry stuff, it was dealing with the animation side of things, and I can say that even then, even with rigs, that shit can get pretty complicated. So, I'm sorry. Beetlejuice is just one of those characters who just has a lot going on. But at the same time, I do still really think that Beetlejuice is perfect for animation. If I were fortunate enough to be a showrunner on a Beetlejuice cartoon or anything similar, I would do what I can to simplify and find shortcuts for his design to make him easier to animate, because I completely understand how taxing that could be for people. And also, I would, prefer to give people more time to animate this in a perfect world rather than a ridiculous schedule. Yeah, something to think about. Looks like Lydia's being drawn over here. I'm going to get to her later, though, because this is actually an older version of Lydia that I have. I do end up changing her design later on in the video, you'll see. I just kind of decided that I wanted to do a different kind of a look for her in the middle of it, because Lydia is kind of a hard character to design, because unlike Beetlejuice, she does not have one iconic look exactly. She has different outfits for every single, iteration that she's in, that she's very well known for. And because of that, it's, you kind of, I felt like I wanted to make my own outfit for her. And choosing it, it's pretty hard. So, yeah, I'll get back to Lydia And there's the Maitlands right there. I'm going to talk about them later too. I'm going to go back to Beetlejuice because I still have a lot to say about him, unfortunately. So now I want to get into more specific things about my Beetlejuice design and the choices that I wanted to make regarding him. So to start, I really wanted to make sure that the one thing from the main thing from the cartoon that I kind of took inspiration from was kind of like his overall, like his stature, right? Like he's just this little guy, this little creature man. And I wanted to kind of keep his shapes a little bit more kind of rounded and kind of curved, because I do think that even though he is like this assholey kind of a character, he's still, he's Lydia's friend. So he's a friend character to a degree. He's still an asshole, but I wanted there to be friendly parts of him still. So kind of finding the balance between him being this conniving demon ghost monster and then being like friendly was really important to me, and I wanted to keep that. Also, him being very like kind of rounded and squishy looking, I think helps a lot for Squash and Stretch, because he's such a cartoony character. Like even in the cartoon itself, he's the most cartoony of them all. I really wanted him to be very like stretchable and squishable and malleable because of all of the shape-shifting that he does, and there's a lot of slapstick potential. All of that stuff I think is really good for Beetlejuice. And I just wanted him to kind of have Danny DeVito vibes, because when I think about Beetlejuice and what I would love to see as like a take on him is like a more Danny DeVito kind of Beetlejuice, like Frank Reynolds, but like a kid's version or a more general audience Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny kind of a Beetlejuice. I really enjoy that. So that's a side of him that I would like to see, and that's what I was channeling. Oh, shout out to my boyfriend and best friend KK Hong for giving me this little tidbit on what I should do with his legs and his hair. He was helping me out. Shout out to @KiraChrono at twitter.com. Super cool friend. Thank you, Bab. Love you. So let's see. A couple other things about him. His stripes. So his stripes are not actually like figured out properly here. I did figure them out when I was doing the turnaround for him. I really wanted to make sure that I kept them consistent because, like I said, I know that when it comes to animating him, the stripes would be annoying as hell. So making sure that there's a consistent way of drawing them is very important, that they make sense from all sides. This version here, I didn't actually have the stripes completely figured out yet, so this is not entirely accurate to what I ended up going with. Oh my god, Arthur! He's gonna kill Beetlejuice! Okay, sorry. Anyway, yeah, and then his hair, I wanted his hair to be a mix between, of course, the musical and the cartoon, like pretty much everything else in this design. And like I wanted to give him kind of the widow's peak of the cartoon, but then give him like the hairline and the overall like kind of vibe of the musical with the colors and stuff. And yeah, so his colors, obviously I wanted to take from that magenta shirt in the cartoon. I love the magenta shirt. I think magenta is Beetlejuice's color. I really do. It fits him very well. So definitely wanted to keep that. And a couple other things, his beetle suspenders. I wanted to add just a couple more like flares to the character, and of course one of which is the beetle suspenders. It was really fun adding those. In the musical he has suspenders, so I wanted to kind of make them a little bit more specific to him. He's Beetlejuice. Beetle suspenders. It makes sense. And lastly, I just want to talk about his shoes and his hands really quickly before I move on to Lydia. So for his boots, I wanted to keep the cute little witchy boots that he has in the cartoon. I just think they're adorable, so of course those are, coming into this design because, like, I can't think of anything better to do. It's cute little witchy boots. It's perfect. And as for his hands, really quick, I just wanted to kind of take some inspiration from Lilo and Stitch. I really like Stitch's cute little like raccoon kind of hands, and I wanted Beetlejuice to have something similar to that. I think it fits his personality pretty well, and I think that Stitch's hands are so cute, and Beetlejuice and Stitch, to me, they have a lot in common. At least the way that I envision them, I feel like they have some commonalities, so I thought it would be kind of just a fun little light inspiration to kind of take from. So anyway, all right, Beetlejuice done. I'm gonna move on to Lydia now. So for Lydia, I wanted to have a younger take on the character, similar to how she is in the cartoon, because I know that she's middle school age, I guess, in every version, but she obviously feels the youngest in the cartoon because it's a kid's cartoon, and, it makes sense. So that was kind of one thing that I always wanted to do with her design. I wanted her to have like red and black in her as well, because I do like that in the musical she has like all black, and in the movie the all black, but the red that she has, like those pops of color, because it's a cartoon, I think it's really important that she's more than just one, single color on her outfit. I think that that's important. And this early version of her design, there are some things that I end up keeping, so I'll just talk about those. Her sleeves, I really like the kind of like long sort of witch-like sleeves that she has. Those were inspired by her kind of like, I guess, human world outfit in the cartoon, the purple dress that she has with the sleeves and like the sash in the middle. I really liked that look, so I wanted to kind of make a more like a red and black version of that with like some spider motifs here and there, because Lydia is for some reason associated with spiders now, even though she's never, I don't know where it came from, but obviously that's just kind of how she is now. And it looks good. It fits her personality anyway, so I guess it's fine. And like for her makeup, I wanted her to have like really bold red like eyes, not like red eyes, but like, red around her eyes, because I think that her and Beetlejuice having like these really ridiculous amounts of like, I guess it's eyeshadow, even for Beetlejuice. I really like that look. And in the cartoon they had that. I think it makes good contrast on their face so that they can like be more emotive and have more like strong expressions. I really like how that looks. And there's a reason that people love characters like that who have like all this dark around their eyes. It just, aesthetically, it just looks very pleasing. So for both Beetlejuice and Lydia, I also wanted to add that. And that is stuff that is from the cartoon as well, just different colors. I see that the Maitlands are getting made right there, but I'm gonna stay on Lydia for just a little bit longer because I still have some more to say about her. The last thing that I wanted to bring up about Lydia, and this goes for Charles too, because they're related, is that I made them both Korean, and why not? I think that Beetlejuice is an incredibly white cast of characters, like historically speaking. It's always been like that in the movie, the cartoon, musical. It's all very white, and that's lame. So I just wanted to bring that up. And generally speaking, I just really hope that whatever is coming next for Beetlejuice on the horizon, whether it be another cartoon, another movie, another musical, probably not, but I really, really hope that it would have a more diverse cast, because not only is representation incredibly important, but also it's a nice departure from the overwhelming amount of whiteness and heteronormativity and cisgender, social norms inside of Tim Burton's films. For a guy who cares so much about centering characters who are meant to be outcasts of society or seen as quote-unquote weird, different, strange, and unusual, you'd really think that he would make those stories about people who are not just Johnny Depp or, white guys or white women who are heterosexual and conventionally attractive and all of that tired, boring stuff that we've seen a billion times. It's just lame. So, with that is why my Lydia is Korean and a lesbian. Okay, now on to the Maitlands, who, funnily enough, are indeed boring and white. Okay. Starting with Adam, I don't really have that much to say about Adam because he really is pretty similar to how he is in the musical. I kind of just did a cartoonified version of Rob McClure, but with glasses. I kept the glasses because in the movie he has them, but also I just think they fit his personality like perfectly. He's a nerd. He's the guy that you would see at the Geek Squad at Best Buy. Yeah, that's what he is. At least that's what he is to me. And I say that all very endearingly. So, yeah, for Adam, that's Adam. I mean, he's just a guy. Yeah, but he's a very sweet guy. He's a good dad guy. Yeah. As for Barbara, I also wanted to go with a more musical, kind of Carrie Butler inspired look for her, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. Like I kind of gave her rounder features to have more diversity for the female characters in the lineup, and also I think that it fits her personality to just appear very, very meek and unassuming and cutesy, because that is just very Barbara for me. Also, I wanted to have her look like that because I love Gina Davis's Barbara in the movie so much. I think she's awesome. I think she's such a badass. But the thing is, what I like about Barbara in the musical is that she kind of learns to be a badass, because Gina Davis's Barbara, to me, she's a badass from the very beginning. Like, she's already scared. Like, well, I mean, she's not scaring the Deetzes, but she's doing shit that's pretty scary really early on. That's all I'm saying. While for Barbara in the musical, she kind of learns to break out of her shell, and so does Adam. But I think for Barbara, the change is it's much stronger, and you can see that in her, which I love. So that is the big thing for Barbara that I was thinking about. Also, I made both of the Maitlands blue because I didn't want them to be green. I wanted to change it up. I think blue fits them pretty well. It's kind of like a dull blue because they're supposed to be duller characters. I mean, they're not, but Beetlejuice would disagree. So that is the point of that. Yeah, overall, I kept the Maitlands pretty similar to what we've seen before. I figured that it works for them. They are not meant to be the standout kind of characters that obviously Beetlejuice and Lydia are. They're not meant to be kooky in the way that Delia is. So keeping them as normal looking people was exactly what I set out to do, and that's what I did. So that's the Maitlands. I might have more to say about them later, but right now I think I'm just going to move on to Charles because he is actively getting drawn right there. So let's go for it. Okay. As for Charles, I completely ignored the movie and the cartoon versions of him. I'm just not into it. I never liked him in those. So seeing him in the musical, it really opened my eyes to the potential that Charles has as a character, because as you might know, in the musical, he actually has a much more like deep connection to Lydia that is a lot more meaningful and heartfelt, and I really love that. I really like his whole story in the musical. And also, I really wanted to keep in mind his kind of try-hard businessman sort of a vibe. I really love that. And of course, the fact that he's holding everything in and trying so hard to move forward and obsessing over ignoring everything around him. I love that about his character in the musical. I think that it fits him really well, and it makes him much more... He is likable, but obviously, you know, you're not meant to like these things that he's doing in the musical, but still, it's a much stronger version of the character. So I wanted to pay attention to all of that and be thinking about that as I was designing him. I wanted him also, I'll just say it, I wanted him to be kind of hot looking, not gonna lie. I just, you know, why not? I thought it would be fun. So I did that as well when designing Charles. And for his colors, I know that I'm not at his colors just yet, but you'll see them eventually. I wanted him to kind of match with Lydia. Like they're gonna have the same, that kind of dark bluish, purplish color on them. They will both be sharing that, but the difference between them is that Lydia has her red because I want her to be a bolder character, like she's bolder about her emotions, right? While Charles is obviously holding everything in. So I wanted to make Charles have like grays and like much kind of more toned down colors on him in contrast with Lydia. So they have that one kind of dark color connecting them, which, you know, they are both in mourning, just in their own different ways. And I wanted that to be subtly clear in their designs to connect them. But still, because they're mourning in their own ways, their colors will kind of reflect their own mourning style, I guess, if you want to put it that way. There you go. So, yeah, that's Charles. I really do hope that future versions of him, if they make any future versions of Beetlejuice, that they continue on with this direction with him, because I really do love it. And looks like Delia's being made. Okay, on to her, because she is my favorite character other than Beetlejuice. Okay, Delia time. So for Delia, I have to say, she is great in the movie and the cartoon and the musical. I think she's just wonderful. She is such a great character. In the movie especially, I think she's the best character. Catherine O'Hara fucking kills it as Delia in the movie. She has all of the best scenes, all of the best lines, all of the best looks. She is so funny, and I love the fact that she's like this really, really obsessive and particular, like very aesthetically driven artist. I think it's really funny. Like, I love the bit in the movie where she gets attacked by her own art, and then that comes again at the end when it comes to life and like strangles everybody. I think that's just so funny. And also, I love that everyone just kind of low key hates her art. I don't know. I think it's great because I love her art and I love her aesthetic. She's just so like eccentric and fun. And I really love female characters like that. And I feel like we don't really get that very often. There's so much to love about Delia in the movie. And same thing can be said for Delia in the musical. I think Leslie Kritzer is fucking hilarious and incredible in this role. She is so good. I love the life coach direction that they take. I think it fits really well with the themes of the story. And it's also just a lot of room for doing new, really funny things with Delia. I love the stuff with her guru Otho. I think that's like a nice way to kind of fit Otho into the story. The only thing that I would change about Delia in the musical, honestly, is I just wish that there would have been some kind of acknowledgement that the bad art was hers. Because, like I said, her being an artist was one of my favorite things about her. So, them taking them out kind of bummed me out a little bit. I don't know. I don't think it would be that hard to just have some kind of throwaway line that, like, implies that the bad art is Delia's. I don't think it would hurt. I don't know why they got rid of that, but it's okay. And as for Delia in the cartoon, yeah, I think she's cute. I think she's pretty funny. I like that she's still an artist in it. That I appreciate very much. And I think it's funny that they kind of dumbed down her character in the sense that she's not Lydia's stepmom anymore. She's just her mom now. I don't know. I just think, like, of course they do that in the cartoon. It's just funny. Um, but as for her design, I really wanted her outfit to call back to Delia in the movie. Like, I really like the kind of mismatched sorts of outfits that she would wear. Like, she has one where, her sleeve is like really poofy on one side. So I wanted to kind of have a reference to that. But I wanted to stay more true to her colors in the musical because I really like that they used a lot of purples for her. I think it definitely helps her stand out more as a character because the thing is, in the movie, she wears a lot of like blacks and whites and reds, which totally works for her in the film. But I do think that when you're doing a lineup of characters, especially in a cartoon, giving each character their own like specific color that's associated with them can be really, really helpful for differentiating them and obviously heightening their specific personalities. I didn't want Delia to wear like the black, white, and red that much because obviously she's not Beetlejuice. Why that would be like a weird connection to him, like visually. So I just wanted to stick with the purple because yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. But then I wanted to give her the hair of Leslie Kritzer's Delia because I think it has a great silhouette. It's really fun, and I just think that it fits her. I love Delia. What can I say? She's one of the best characters in Beetlejuice, and I hope that whatever the future holds for her is positive, and I hope that she can become an artist again, because I really, really love that. Okay, now let's get on to Miss Argentina, because I see her getting drawn. So for Miss A, which is my nickname for Miss Argentina, I really wanted to go for something that was more exaggerated than what we've seen before for her. Like, she's still recognizably Miss Argentina, but I just wanted to really push her silhouette and her proportions a lot more than what we've previously seen. So my thought was, okay, let's make her like zombie supermodel, right? So she's the tallest character. She has like very, very sharp features. Like, her face is very sharp in comparison to everyone else, and she has sharper legs and like arms and all of that. I wanted her to look very elegant but also very zombie like, so I tried to push all of that with my design for her. I really like how she looks in the movie the most, so I kind of wanted to keep like the updo that she has, something similar to that at least. And I know that in the film she has like that really, really cute, those like spikes that kind of come out of the back of her dress, so I wanted to play with those and kind of do like a fun sort of twisty design with those. As for her dress, I was really looking at Jessica Rabbit for the main inspiration. I think that Jessica's dress from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, if you don't know, it's so iconic. I love the red and the sparkles and like the leg coming out. It is very, very elegant, and I think it's very Miss Argentina. So that was really what I was thinking of as I designed her dress. As for her colors, I didn't really want to change all that much from what was already established for Miss A. I think the green or teal, whatever you want to call it, and the red, they work perfectly. I wanted to continue that trend of characters that live in an underworld or anything similar to a netherworld, they always have the brighter colors than the living world in most media. I wanted to keep to that trope. I really love it. And I do plan on making more designs of Netherworld characters, including Juno and maybe some of the more iconic characters in the Netherworld waiting room, like the magician's assistant, the lady who's cut in half. I love her. I think that that's so clever. I really want to do a design for her. There's the cigarette guy, stuff like that. And I want to make my own too. I think that it's such a fun concept to design characters based on how they died. I think that's such a great opportunity to explore. So once I get my hand back, I definitely want to do some of that. Okay, that's Miss A. Now let's do the Girl Scout. So for the Girl Scout, aka Sky, her name is Sky, you should know that, I wanted to do something that was a bit different from the musicals version of her. So I kind of went and I designed her separately, like in a different file, as you can see, and just perfected her design here. I wanted to do that because I didn't want every single character to be like a one-to-one to a pre-existing version of Beetlejuice, obviously. I wanted to, for some of them, really put my own spin on it. The only thing in Sky that really is calling back to the musical is that her outfit is very much similar to what Dana Steingold wears. I mean, it's a big old Girl Scout uniform. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that, so I kept that. As for Sky, I really wanted to push the most innocent kind of a child look I possibly could, with like these big glasses that make her eyes look gigantic and like big poofy pigtails, just kind of trying to give her like a hamster toy poodle kind of a look, just something that's super duper innocent, so that once she gets scared, it's funnier. And yeah, I just really, really love Sky. I think that she is a really, really good kind of introduction to Act 2. I love the Girl Scout song. It is so quotable. It is so cute. Dana Steingold is wonderful. Yeah, man, I had a lot of fun with this design. And also, I wanted to really push her proportions a lot in comparison to the other characters. Like, I wanted her to have just a really big head and really, really small limbs because she's a little baby, right? Like, she just has to be as baby as possible. So I tried to go for that. I don't think that her design would be very animation friendly. I think maybe at some point in the future, once I can draw again, I'll probably go back and simplify her badges, especially. Like, there can be less of them, and maybe what I do is I'd make them bigger so that they are more readable and less kind of cluttered in there, because that's definitely something that, looking back on this, I'm kind of noticing. I don't love that. So yeah, there's always things about designs that once you kind of take some time away from it, you kind of look at it and you want to change. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. So yeah, maybe I'll be changing that about Sky at some point in the future. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with how she came out. I think she's very cute. So that's the Girl Scout. So next I think is my Lydia redesign. Yeah, speaking of changing designs down the line, for Lydia, I wasn't really feeling the design that I had for her. I felt her outfit was a little too plain. Because, like I said before, I think for Lydia, there's so many different avenues you can take with her outfit because she is goth, and that's like a very iconic part of her character. And she's very well known for having pretty fun and eccentric sorts of clothes. So I wanted to try something else. It's not too different from what she was originally wearing, but I just wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. So I added the sash in the middle is a little bit more detailed, and I wanted to give her skirt more of like a spider web kind of a look, calling back to, of course, her design in the cartoon that is so wonderful and iconic. And I wanted to make her boots a bit bigger. Yeah, stuff like that. I just felt it fit her a little bit better. And also, I wanted to get rid of the hat because while I love the hat, I think that if this were an actual cartoon, her wearing that in every scene would be such a hindrance. Maybe she could have it in one scene, as she does in the film, but normally I think that her with just like the one little ponytail with the spider on it, that fits her just as well. And Lydia having like a cute little ponytail, that's of course a thing that she has in the film and in the cartoon. So yeah, I just thought that would be a much better, more fitting callback for the character. Her colors are the same still. I still liked that palette. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of refine it a little bit, make her look a little bit more edgy also. That Sophia Ann Caruso kind of expression where she's a little bit more pissed off, a little angsty. So yeah. And that looks like everybody. All right. Yep, there's the whole thing. As you can see, I can talk about Beetlejuice for a very, very long freaking time. And I still have more to say. So in the next video, what I was thinking about doing was I'm going to be making a post on Twitter, and also feel free to comment below on this video as well. I want to just ask, what kinds of Beetlejuice related hot takes or whatever do you want me to talk about next? Because for the next video I'm doing, I want to do my Beetlejuice turnaround. And because it's just going to be, you know, him just being drawn from different angles, I want to talk about various things regarding Beetlejuice because I think that would be fun. But I want to know what you guys would like me to talk about if you have any ideas. So yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Let me know what you think. And really, I appreciate you guys so much for being interested in what I have to say. It really means a lot. So thank you, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.